The next event is that he's sending and empowering the 12. This is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Luke just jumps right in, chapter 9, verse 1. Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases. Mark 6, 7. And he called to him the 12 and began to send them forth by two and two and gave them power over unclean spirits. Matthew, however, has a bit more, a few verses explaining what's going on. And then, at the beginning of 10, it goes into that event. And when he had called to him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of diseases. And as I said a few events back, I was going to stop right when the Pharisees accused him of healing through the power of the prince of devils at 34. And now at verse 35 is where I'll begin. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then says he to his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray you therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Now he actually says these words in Luke, that the harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. However, he doesn't say it when he sends out the 12. He says in a different event when he sends out the, the 70, chapter 10. After these things the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place where he himself would come. Therefore said he to them, The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray you therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. So, I am not exactly sure if I should have this statement, The harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray you therefore the Lord sends harvest, all that. Here, when he sends out the 12, as it's recorded in Matthew, or later, when he sends out the 70 from Luke. I think it should probably go when he sends out the 70, because, again, Matthew puts stuff out of order, but it kind of fits here from the verse earlier. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad, as sheep having no shepherd. Then he says to his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. So the harvest is plenteous, meaning they're there. They are in need. But maybe I should just leave it without it. When he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then right into chapter 10, verse 1. And when he called to him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Yeah, that could work. I think I'm going to do this then. I'm going to save this statement, the harvest truly is plenteous, on and on, until he says that in Luke 10. The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. So it's a bit different from Matthew. The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. But the laborers are few. Pray you therefore the Lord of the harvest. Pray you therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. That he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Yeah. And I don't like the repeats, especially when it's only mentioned once in one book and once in another. It makes sense to pick the time when it probably happened and just have it there. So that's where I'm going to move it. Unless I can find another place in Matthew when he does say that. I already know him sending out the 70 is only in Luke. I looked that up earlier because I wanted to see where that goes and if maybe that's just the same events of him sending out the 12. But it can't be, because in chapter 9 is when he sends out the 12. He called his 12 disciples, gave them power, sent them to preach the kingdom of God. He says, take nothing for your journey, neither staves nor script. Then in chapter 10 he sends out the 70. So these are definitely two different events. So yeah, I will move from Matthew 9 verses 37 and 38 only when he says this statement to that event in Luke. But I'll put 35 and 36 here. Another thing is that I didn't realize at the end of the last paragraph in Mark, where it says he went round about the villages and teaching, that's probably the same. I should combine that sentence with this. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages teaching in their synagogues. Beginning of 35. I'm actually going to take that out from here and combine it, as I just mentioned, with the verse from Matthew. So I don't actually go to verse 6 here.